Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now in this video I'd just like to review a Blu-ray by Shameless Entertainment. It was released, well, the movie's actually from 1994 and that movie is called DELLAMORTE DELLAMORE, otherwise known as The Cemetery Man. Now as I say, I watched this movie last night and on the whole, guys, I was very disappointed with it. Well, before I go any further, I'll just give you a little bit of background about the movie. Yeah, okay, so DELLAMORTE DELLAMORE, I hate that blooming title, otherwise known as Cemetery Man, is a 1994 horror comedy thriller starring Rupert Everett as the titular protagonist, the Cemetery Man. Francis Hadji Lazaro and Anna Falchi. Now the movie was directed by Michele Soavi. It's actually based on the novel of the same name by Tiziano Sclavi. Yeah. So basically, the story follows this rather beleaguered caretaker of a small Italian cemetery who was looking for his dream girl whilst having to constantly defend himself from dead people, who keep rising from the grave. Crazy story. Yeah. So amidst all this crazy cadaverous chaos, DELLAMORTE eventually does find his dream girl, but that dream soon descends into a living nightmare, because when he meets her and that, he falls in love with her and he's making love with her on the grave of a deceased husband. The girl is bitten, apparently killed by her undead husband. But then she too, like the zombies, the other undead people he's shooting all the time, she rises from the grave again and again and again in different incarnations, if you will. Yeah. So and that's when DELLAMORTE's grip on reality starts to slip, and then all sorts of crazy things start to happen. Yeah. But I won't reveal too much of the story, in case you haven't seen it for yourself. Yeah. I say, guys, I was very disappointed with this movie, and as I said in the beginning, I thought it was total crap. One of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my whole life. Yeah. It's just got a couple of special features on there, guys, if you want to freeze your cameras and take those in. Yeah, I didn't like this movie at all, guys. As I say, it's I think I wasted my money on this. Yeah, I know a lot of people do like it, but then a lot of people hate it. It's a kind of a Marmite movie, and the movie gets even worse. As it goes along, rapidly and irrevocably descending into one weird, surreal mess, and I mean a mess. The acting was rubbish. I didn't like any of the characters at all. I could not invest in the main protagonist, DELLAMORTE. I didn't like him at all. The story was it wasn't very linear, and I like my stories linear that makes some sense. Yeah, and it was very morbid as well. Being set in a graveyard and that. Yeah, it was an awful movie. And then it's got this, as well as the main protagonist, it's got this very annoying character in it. He's a kind of a business partner friend. He's like a big fat yob. he's like a big fat middle-aged yob, the skinhead and that, and he's dressed like a hillbilly, like he's got like a check shirt on, and he's got like trousers with a bib and that. Oh, you want one irritating character, guys. I mean, there's one particular scene where he's having lunch al fresco with DELLAMORTE, and he's talking to business people and that. I think one of them's not sure if one of them's the mayor or not. Yeah, but anyway, he's eyeing this girl across the table, and all of a sudden he sort of like he launches a stream of projectile vomit at the girl and that, because she runs away, her dress is all stained. Yeah, it's a total load of rubbish, this, guys. Yeah, I hated it. I absolutely hated this. Yeah. And I think the movie's main fault was that it didn't seem to know what it was, what it was trying to be. Was it trying to be a comedy? Was it trying to be a horror? Well, if they were trying to mix everything in, well, I tell you what, they got the balance wrong here, guys. They really did. It's a load of blooming rubbish from start to finish. I hated the movie. I mean, I'm surprised I got through it, to be honest with you. I felt like switching it off. I didn't like the way the girl kept coming back and all in different physical, incarnations and that. It didn't make sense. And then there was a scene, and the way he was shooting everybody as well. The main protagonist, he was just shooting, particularly the people who are coming back from the dead. And there's one crazy scene where he's in the hospital and he starts shooting all the nurses and that, you know, indiscriminately. Oh, it was a bloody load of rubbish, guys. It really was. You know, I hated it. You know, it really did. Yeah, and it had one ridiculous. You know, it went from one ridiculous scenario to another. You know, on the one hand, it had comedic elements in, but on the other hand, it had some dark horror in it. But the horror wasn't even scary. You know, he's just in the graveyard and that, and then the girl kept coming back from the dead, and you know, and then you had like a sort of like the police inspector coming along investigating, and even he wasn't very good in that. Oh, it was rubbish. It was total rubbish, guys. I hated this movie. You know, I would not recommend it to anybody. Dellamorte Dellamore, and to think, the director was in 2011. He was actually contemplating doing a sequel. Well, I'm very glad he didn't, you know, because I'm sure if it was anything like this, it would be worth giving a miss to. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was an awful movie, guys. It's a pity because with me collecting the Shameless Blu-rays, as I've mentioned in a previous video, I would have liked to have added this to my collection, but having seen the movie, it did not tick all the boxes for me, so I'm afraid it will be going on eBay or the bin, or the rubbish bin. Yeah, no, yeah, honestly, being seriously, guys, I didn't like it at all. If you want to hear the blurb, I can read you the blurb if you like and give you a little bit more outline of the movie. Yeah, so Michel Soavi, the director of the church and the sect, now sears our retinas and our emotions with this cool, sexy. Oh yeah, I must warn you, there's quite a bit of nudity in this. So if you don't like naked flesh, you better shut your eyes. Yeah, a lot of graveyard, you know, hanky panky. Yeah, so this is a remastered HD version. Yeah, I will say this though, the picture quality is very good. Yeah, remastered HD version finally does justice to his undisputed Grand Guignol masterpiece. Some masterpiece. And to the luscious visions of Anna Falchi and dreamy Rupert Everett. Now meet Francesco Dellamorte, played by Rupert Everett, the cemetery man, gravedigger and guardian of the mythical Buffarola Cemetery, where the dead just don't stay dead. 7 days after burial, the flesh cadavers claw their way out of their coffins, looking for flesh to eat. And it's Francesco's job to dispatch these returners, as he calls them, before they escape into the local community. But his quest to stop the dead from invading the world of the living falters when he falls in love with a beautiful and enigmatic widow visiting her husband's crypt. For when he kills her by mistake and is cursed to see her face for all eternity, the difference between being alive and dead becomes chillingly confused in his shocked and romantically damaged brain. So there you go, guys. That's the blurb for the 1994 horror comedy production, Dellamorte Dellamore, the English title being The Cemetery Man. Yeah, and now to a rating now. I'm going to have to be brutal, guys, and give this a 0 out of 10. Yeah, a 0 out of 10. That's all it deserves as far as I'm concerned. Because it's a total load of garbage from start to finish. And I mean garbage. I'm not beating about the bush here. I did not like this movie at all. I absolutely hated it. It was a load of utter rubbish. And if anybody likes this movie, I can't see where the attraction is, to be honest with you. Because it was a load of bore. It was just one mess. I didn't like the surreal aspect in that. You know, it was going from one scene to another. He was in the graveyard. He was shooting people. And then he was making love to the girl. She was coming back in different incarnations. And there's one crazy scene where he's in the hospital. And he's got his legs up in the air. And the doctor's trying to perform a kind of a crazy, I don't know if you could call it vasectomy on him, and he's shouting his head off and that. It's like, oh, it was a load of rubbish. And that's where he shoots all the nurses. Yeah, oh, it's a crazy movie, one of the craziest movies I've ever seen in my whole life. Yeah, Dellamorte Dellamore. I don't even like the blooming title, you know. Yeah, okay, so that's my review of the 1994 horror thriller comedy, Dellamorte Dellamore, or The Cemetery Man. Yeah, have you seen this movie? What do you think of it? You know, do you like it? Do you hate it? I'd be very interested to know. Yeah, but as regards my recommendations, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. But that's just my opinion. As I've repeatedly said over and over in me videos, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to put you up, but I'm just saying I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to watch it for yourselves and see what it's like, by all means, rent it out, buy it, watch it, see what you think. I didn't like it. And I think it's overtaken The Beast Within as the worst horror movie I've seen this year. Yeah, that's how bad it was. And The Beast Within was bad. This was even worse again. I didn't like the story. I like my stories linear. I like them cohesive, coherent. This is more of a movie for people who like. They're not bothered about linear plots and it making sense. They just want to watch it and just see all the crazy scenes of that. I'm afraid, you know, if you want to watch a movie that sort of like evokes images as if you're on a bad acid trip, this is the movie to get, guys. If you want a bit of craziness, you know, if you're not bothered about story structure, you might like it. I didn't like it. I thought it was a total mess, and I mean a mess. And I think I am very tempted to do this. That's all I've got to say on this piece of rubbish. Talk to you all again soon. Hi guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, you might be interested to know that as well as doing horror movie reviews, I've written quite a few horror and supernatural titles myself. So this is just an example, you know, of what I've written. They were the 2 volumes of my horror story series. I've written a True Ghost Story series, 3 books on the Hammer Horror Studios, Werewolf Novella, Werewolf Nightmare, and finally my largest book to date is 200 True Ghost Stories. So you know, as I say, if you enjoyed watching this video and you'd like to find out more about my life and, you know, my life as an author and that, and you know, reviewer, you know, just you can go along to my website at www.alantoner.com, and you can read more about, like, you know, my life as an author and that, and why I love the genre so much, and you can check out all my book titles because they're all listed there on my website. I also have an Amazon author page as well you might like to check out. So yeah, so as I say, yeah, there you go. Okay guys, take care.